Welcome to the podcast, everybody. We're going to speak about how to free my mind that's trapping me all the time. Keeping me locked into this illusion that I am somehow within space and time. If that's possible. I hope everybody's doing well. No doubt I've had some serious challenges on the taking care of the family situation. My parents had some health issues. Some of the teenagers give me a run for my money. You know, it's not easy for them in the COVID times. And trying to keep it all together as, you know, we book tours and we book shows, and then all of a sudden they get canceled and we have to start all over again. And keep our sanity, which is not so hard if we remember that the only thing for sure in this world is change. And if we remember that, we'll be okay. But as soon as we think we're in control and we know what's going on, then it's going to be a little bit challenging. And we're in for mood swings, ups and downs, lost and found. And finally I was able to get a new phone. So everybody tell me, so RJ told me it wasn't distorted, it was alright, the sound was good? RJ, I'm using my sound, man. Yeah, I'm going to jam a little bit more soon. We're going to speak about, as we always do, how to bring unity and love and understanding into the world on a deeper level, into our own hearts. And you know, there's a misunderstanding in some of the teachings. First of all, we have to preface that by saying nobody knows nothing and we don't know anything. For sure, I don't know anything. And as soon as we know that, we don't know anything, and we're just trying to unknow. And if we unknow and left in our natural state, we will be happy, joyful, and loving. It's always good to start the day off. I remind myself a few times during the day that peace, love, and joy I am, awake and free, gratefully. God is me, right here, right now. Blissful to be. Separate bodies, overlapping minds, one soul beyond space and time. This world was broken down with a no help left to find. Only you had the vision of a better place. They tried to tell you now's not the time. You've got to wait till the master calls. Well, he's called. Everybody sees that you were right. Yes, I want to turn to see you smile. I want to look deep into your eyes. I want to live till the day of peace, visions of love, imaginations of mankind. But you reveal the essence of our creation. You took broken homes and broken lives, and you healed when there was no cure. And you gave life to people, gave up living. Yes, I want to turn, see you smile. I want to look deep into your eyes. I want to learn to see the world your way. On your doorstep, a ray of hope still shines. I know I'll see you one more time. In this darkest hour, salvation's so hard to find. Got to help me stand this test of time. Yes, I want to turn, see you smile. I want to look deep into your eyes. I want to live till the day when you will rise. Yes, I want to turn, smile. I want to look deep into your eyes. I want to live till the day when you will rise. That's a song I wrote about one of my spiritual teachers and the yearning to see him face to face. Now, this question we were all going to be discussing was, many people say that when you actually find your spiritual zone, when you find your path, whether maybe it's a spiritual master, or it's one of those personalities of history that all of a sudden you're, yes, that's my Savior, that's my Buddha, that's my Jesus, that's my Muhammad, that's my Moses, that's my Krishna, whatever it is. And you know, the truth is that they are all yours and they are all everyone's. It's like a flower in the field. Can you imagine a beautiful flower in the field and you're walking through the forest and someone comes and they say, oh, I'm sorry, that's my flower, that's grown only for me. That's the small-mindedness and the misconceptions that people who have been conditioned to different religions, or people who made the religions, or the controlling institutions convince us, oh, that's our guy for me, that's your guy for you, and it gets very much confused. But all of these souls are intertwined, and the real masters tell us that they are not separate from what our true selves are. So when you're yearning for that freedom, which is really our true liberation, is here right now when we control the mind. Because in our natural state, we are aware that it is without description, without concept. There is no word to describe it. It is not good, it isn't bad. It's just beyond description. It just is. It's life. It's being. Many people think that it's the grace that brings the master. there's the grace that brings the Master towards us. Somehow, it's the grace that brings that clarity that we all of a sudden find that teacher, that way that we feel quiets us inside to understand that it's all above space and time, that all is one, that the whole, I see the whole, I don't see myself separate from the whole, and now I understand that I have to just become love and give love to all of creation. And some say that some say it's either that comes as grace from the Master, that it's the Master's grace that you've been granted, whether it's the inner Master, whether it's a living Master, whether it's a Master of the past. All of these souls are intertwined with all of being, for there is no separation ever of anything. It's not possible. And then some say that actually it was you earned it. It was your hard work that brought you to the Master, that then you got the grace. So there's this conflict that's really not a conflict. It's a misconception of where the different people are arguing about whether, well, does the Master's grace come just as grace? It's just a blessing that I am shown the way without doing anything. The truth is, even when we are doing and we are struggling on our own, I heard a great metaphor that also a misconception is that there's nothing that needs to be done. All of the beauty is right here. Yes, that's to capture, if you can, for 1 second, forget the past and the future and all thoughts of achievement and all concepts, you can for 1 second grasp that peace of mind, that beauty of understanding that there is nothing that can be understood or spoke about from that place. And then you cannot be, you can't be thrown off by the reality that what might be happening is all of a sudden that gets lost and you're thrown back into the illusions of the mind and the desires and the fears of getting trapped towards this world. And so for that to change, there are no quick fixes for that. And the metaphor is like a bull, an ox plowing through the mud field with the heavy load, and it's pushing through. And that's what needs to be done to get rid of each illusion of this physical world that we have entrapped within us through conditioning and memory and all of the psychological things that have been brought upon us by society and the institutions. So, on one hand, there is this, yes, there's to really feel that zone, no effort is needed. In fact, if you try, you won't be able to grasp the being, the true essence of what all the pointing is pointing to, which is your inner self of understanding that, right, I'm not the body's mine. I'm not the mind is mine. I am the witness. I am the awakened forever witness. And when I am able to stay in that place of doing nothing, not trying, being my natural self, that is when I connect to the divine that is me, that thing that is beyond description, that is the essence of all creation, of all everything, for that you have to have no effort. And yet, for some people it is an effort to keep all those thoughts and all those concepts and all the disbelief. Don't I have to really read 10,000 books from all the different ways before I have any vision? No. You don't. All of those things in there are just hindrances. They can help you on one side, on the other side they're hindrances. But if you go inside and yearn for that, you can taste that inner peace. But then you have to work to establish it. Then we have to work as the ox in the field, slowly pulling out of one illusion, pulling out of another bad character trait, whether it's anger or pride or greed, to truly becoming a giving, thoughtful, loving being. But that doesn't happen in a quick fix. And so, here again, there is no reason to argue when someone says Jesus saves, or someone says surrender to the Buddha, or someone says give yourself over to God, or someone says just connect to your own self. Just don't do, and you're right there right now. As opposed, there is nothing wrong with that, but that is an instance of grace that opens a window, and then that's you're pointed when you do that. You are pointed in a direction, but you are going to have to work after that. You're going to have to go to establish it as your being. You're going to have to go and have good days and have bad days. I had a person the other day, people have all types of addictions and desires that keep them off track. And someone said, Lazer, I was really in the spiritual zone, and I was doing what you're saying. I was really like spending every morning 45 minutes, and I was just no thoughts, and I was in a peaceful space. And then I just went to the supermarket, and the first pretty girl I see, I'm following her down the aisle, and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm locked in my mind. I'm like a animal, just no. And he says, Lazer, it was painful. It was like I had lost all my peaceful space. And then I got all frustrated, and so I said, what did you do? He said, well, after following her a few aisles, I just left the supermarket, got all upset, went and got some pizza, had a cigarette, a beer, and I just got all pissed off. He says it was just this, it just wasn't, when I was around in my house, it was good, cool. As soon as I went to the supermarket, the whole thing went away. So I said, okay, listen, there's nothing wrong with you. You're human. This is how it goes with these things. There's memory. There is condition of the mind. So I said, try this next time. Next time, this is for all of us, whether it's you're looking at a drink, you're looking at some drugs, you're looking at some unhealthy food, you're looking at your emotions starting to boil, or you're looking at a woman. There has to be a battle of the ox in the mud. You're going to have to tell yourself, you're in the aisle, you see the girl, and you feel the mind is taking, recontrolling you from your peaceful state of not being affected by the illusions of this world where nothing here lasts. None of the pleasures will ever be fulfilled, whether it's drinking, drugs, sex, money, fame. None of it will ever fulfill you. So don't get trapped into it, and don't fall into the other trap of rejecting it all and becoming going to the monastery, because then we know if you're a monk in the monastery, all you'll be doing is thinking about sex all day. It will be in your mind. It'd be better to have sex once a day and then just do good things than to be in the monastery all day just rejecting everything. You have to be worried about that opposite as well. So I told him, okay, so you feel this pull. You see this girl, you know you're married, you don't want to have this desire having you chase this lady down the aisle of the supermarket. I said, try now saying, okay, ask yourself, where is this desire coming from? Let's trace it one sec. Ask the mind, okay, wait a second. It's not your body is not controlling it by yourself. It's not like your eyes, they don't do it. It's not other body parts that automatically they have control. Because when you go to sleep at night, there's nothing, doesn't matter if a naked woman walks all around the room, none of your body parts are going to get excited, okay? This is something in your mind. This is your mind creating illusion. But you can control it. So he says, what do I do? So I said, you ask the mind, where is that thought coming from? What is the reason for this? What is the reason for this? Hey, Sean, we're all doing it together, buddy. Or Sean, I'm sorry, that could also be a Mrs. I can't see the face there, but Sean, we're helping each other here. So I was happy because, I always tell people you have to be completely true with yourself. We don't want to be fake saints. We don't want to be fakers. We're real. We're humans. We're allowed. None of us. If we're in this world, that means this is a world of fixing. There's still more things we have to fix. So I was so happy this person told me exactly his story. Lazer, hey, another songwriter here. We have the hardest job song because as songwriters we have very good illusional capabilities. We have very good abilities for imagination and dreaming and this. So that is a blessing and a curse at the same time. So this person said, Lazer, I was on this spiritual high. I wasn't needing any extra things, no extra drinks. I was being real calm, and I got into the supermarket. So I said, I told him, next time you see that happening, you witness the scene. Okay, you feel something in your body. You see it's your mind watching this woman that's creating something happening in your body. Okay? Okay, so you're aware of that. So the first thing is to do, you turn around and you don't have to look at that woman. First of all, you should praise to whoever's created. It's a beautiful thing. It's not to be hated. It's not to say, it's a beautiful thing, but it's not mine. It's not going to fix my day. And if I'll get that, I'll want something else after that. You have to know what the end, you have to speak to the mind. Turn around, and now you ask, when you're not looking, you ask yourself, where did that thought come from? But it's still not freedom. It's painful. It's painful because the mind and the body have got this memory. They have this reaction going on that you're used to following it down a path, but you remind yourself that you followed probably that path of forgetting how bad you feel when you drink too much or too much drugs, or you got angry at somebody, or you ate unhealthy food. You already know what happens, or you were following your sexual desires to a place that did it. You already know that it hasn't given you freedom. So you tell the mind, okay, what you're thinking is, let me see, that's coming from the ego. Let me find the place of the ego. Where is the ego? Now, when you're questioning this pain in your body of feeling that I'm a slave to going after that desire, it starts to become less. Then you can smile at it and you can talk at it, talk to it. Don't get all flustered like you got to run to the river, take off your clothes and dive in the river. I'm impure, I'm some bad dude. No. Say, okay, I feel that. And now as the ox pulling through the mud. You're going to have to slowly get yourself out of that aisle, of that thought, and you're going to make it through that. It might be a little bit of a struggle. Now, this is everybody with a drink. This is everybody with drugs. This is everybody who's addicted to work. This is everybody who's addicted to thinking this world is anything different than a dream. That when you wake up from the dream in the morning and you realize the dream isn't real, this world also is not real. It's just longer and feels more. But if you get yourself into a deep headspace, attach yourself, ask yourself for the grace to contact the actual master who is going to teach you how to be your natural you. The real teacher is not going to ask you to be their student. So now, if you keep talking to the ego, laugh a little bit, ask the ego, where are you? Are you going to help me? Are you going to set me free? No. And then you say, okay, let me go for a few seconds, no thoughts. Let me think about the peaceful state of mind. Let me think about the beautiful things in the world that are mine, that I don't need to be getting myself in trouble. And you will see that you will be able to get through it. Now, that practice in your house of watching thoughts coming up and asking what is the source of the thought, and every time a thought comes up, you keep it away. Every time you are able to do this, you will realize that you will slowly set yourself free to true freedom of wherever you are, whatever the situation. You are just going to be in the being. You're not going to get trapped into the mind game of either getting attached or trying to resist. You're just going to be dealing with it. So I'm blessing everybody to know there's no conflict between those who say there's no effort for liberation and those who say you need to be the ox slowly pushing through the mud, getting rid of one illusion, one attachment at a time. Those things are both possible and both happening at the same time, just as it is that your desire and hard work for freedom brought on the grace that took you to the master, that quiets your insides to just realize there is nothing lacking, there is no place you have to go. Everything is here right now. While at the same time, all of that blessing came from the master. And so because you do not know which it is, there is no need to argue about it. There is no need to argue of all the different ways. It doesn't matter if the Zen is arguing with the traditional Buddhists, or if the Sufis are arguing with the Hasidim, or the different Hindus are arguing with the Vedanta. It doesn't matter, because you don't know. So you just know that you have to put in your effort. And if you're feeling you put in your effort, you have to have the humility to know that if I'm seeking the truth, this is coming from the one source of self, which is that divine is revealed into those holy people in the world who are redeeming souls in the world. And that is no different than my own inside light. And so they're all the same. And so the same is that we don't say, we don't go with the people who say it's only effort, and not with the people who say it's only grace. It's a combination of both. So keep yourselves balanced. Blessing everyone with a good week, and hopefully next week. I got to go take care of Mom again. My sister's not home from America yet, and I love you all, and just just keep yourself awake to be aware, witness the illusions of the mind. Don't be afraid. Air drum hit on them. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to actually confess, yes, I am. The first step towards freedom is saying, yes, I am a slave to my mind. My mind has me in slavery. My mind has me thinking all these illusionary things are real. It has me trapped in desire and fear. And when you admit that, you are already free. Yearn for the master, yearn for that soul. Perhaps it's a book, perhaps it's a video, perhaps it's a friend, perhaps whatever it is. If you're not silenced, if you can't just sit and feel how beautiful it is to just be alone doing nothing, if you don't have that beauty of capturing the being, then you have to keep going. If you don't feel that desire to want to bring love and joy and peace to all beings, you have to keep going. If you're feeling insensitivity that easily when that fly passes by you want to kill it, or if you're just, walking down the street, I don't know, you see some bug and you want to kill it, or you just, without thinking, when you go to pick a flower, you can pick it without thinking about it. You don't have the sensitivity. If you're just even going down to the river and you're putting your hands in the water and you're not remembering that I came from the water, I came from the elements, I'm going to be going back into the elements. If that sensitivity is lost, get our sensitivity back. That is the secret of how to get out of Ukraine and Russia situations and all other friction in the world. There is no quick fixes. Remember, it's a combination of grace and the ox pulling through the mud. I bless you all to know when to be an ox. I bless you all to know when there is no doubt that you're in the zone of grace. And so I think anyone watching, I have been blessed with immense grace for many years. I must tell you, in the last few years, I've been having a certain special flow of beautiful beauty and grace that I can't really explain it, and I can't. It's like you can point to others, so I can point, and so that's why I never tell anyone. I don't tell anyone that they can do what I do, follow who I follow, believe what I believe, because each person at different times in their lives needs some other different tool, some vitamin that can work for them. But I can just tell you that it was many years of being the ox, of being a slave to the mind, being a slave to the institution, being a slave to what others thought, until this great flow of freedom came, where this tremendous beauty came. And I don't want to get too much into the details of my own deep experience of true freedom, because I'm here. But what I can only say is that it has to continually be deepened and reestablished. And we shouldn't be thrown off like my friend who told me that he goes into the supermarket and all of a sudden he went from this holy master to being like he felt he was the lowest thing, walking after this lady through the aisles of the supermarket pretending he's shopping. So this you come back into the zone, you witness it, you laugh at it, you're human, it's okay, don't create any harm for anybody, don't harm yourself, and it's all going to be good. But I just want to share it all with you, the grace that I've been really blessed to be in a very special place, and I'm sure all of you here are, and we all are together and it's all of us together doing it. But everyone else has to do it for themselves. It could be that I've been graced, and if someone watches this video, that's the grace that they've been watching this video. But at the same time, I'm just pointing you to do it your own way. Each person has to experience, what does that mean, just being? What does that mean, I am one with the whole? What does it mean that I am alleviating pain and suffering from all creation? What does it mean that I am making sure not to cause any suffering? What does it mean that there is no birth, no death? Each person, those are all concepts and words, but what it is beyond words. So I bless us all to go into the beyond word zone and know that the greatest thing each of us can do for the whole world is to go into that silent place and further establish it with no effort, and be brave to be the ox plowing through the mud.